Alontae, congratulations. You were picked in the second round, 49th overall by the New Orleans Saints. Now that it's been a few days, have you kind of processed what just happened?
Just a little bit, I'm still working on it. I was talking to my parents yesterday. I feel like it's not gonna really hit me until I get on my plane, and I know that I'm leaving Tennessee for a very long time. So I think it's gonna be that moment, and then when I get into that locker room and just kind of see my locker and get to start to pick out my uniform and my gear, I think that'll be the time I'm really in the NFL.
Take me back to the call. What was that moment like for you?
Yeah, so I seen a lot of corners coming off the board, and so I texted my agents, I sent the eye emoji, hey, I've got to be the next corner off the board, and they replied back to me, and they was like, hey, let's just be patient, we're probably looking more so 3-4. I'm like, okay, cool. So I kind of slouched in my chair a little bit, and next thing you know, I look and my phone is just ringing, and I'm hoping it's not somebody randomly calling me, and I see the 504 area code, and I see New Orleans, and I didn't even know that they were on the clock, honestly. And so I just picked up the phone, and my mind literally went blank. I just heard Coach Allen. He was just talking to me, and I'm just like, let's get it, Coach. Let's get it. That was my word. Let's get it. Let's go. And then after I got off the phone, everyone was quiet. I told my parents I wasn't going to tell anybody who it was, and we were just looking at the screen. And they were taking forever to come out because we get off the phone pretty quick. But then I just grabbed my grandma's picture and made sure I gave her a kiss first.
That's so exciting. I mean, how special is it to enjoy that life-changing moment with your family and something that you guys will remember forever?
It's something that, I dreamed of since I was 5. I've always thought about my dream was to walk on the stage, right? Put the hat on, take the picture. Although that didn't happen, I was blessed enough to even have the opportunity of getting drafted. But, being able to have my whole entire family there, I know at the draft you can only have a select few, so it worked out better this way, being able to have more friends and family come to the event. But it's something that'll live with me forever. My best friend, one of my friends, Ben, who came and recorded the whole thing, he did a great job with recording it and editing it. So super excited to go back and look at it whenever times get hard, while I'm in New Orleans, and I can just kind of say like that's who you do it for, right? So
prior conversations with the Saints, what did those conversations look like?
Yeah, so I went to the Senior Bowl. When I got to the Senior Bowl, we had formal meetings and informal meetings. I had a formal meeting with them. We kind of did the install into the playbook and things like that. Then they kind of quizzed me on it to see how quick I could learn it. And I was like, okay, this defense would be pretty cool. Then when we went to the Combine, the Saints were the first group to grab me. And so I met with the Saints again. They kind of seen if I remember what I remembered from the Senior Bowl. So I did that, did really good there. And then Coach Robinson came here. We had a little lunch at Calhoun's. And then the next day we had an on-field session. So had a lot of conversations with them and their DB coach. So didn't know I was going to go there though. I hear the conversations of the team who talks to you the most may be the team that doesn't draft you. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go to New Orleans. They talk to me a lot. But sometimes it works the other way around, and that's what happened for me.
So were you really surprised when you got the call from them?
Most definitely. When my agent said 3-4, I was like, okay. Coming into it, I only had a few teams who said I could go in the second round. Majority of teams said I'd be a third or fourth round guy, and so I wasn't expecting that. I just knew corners had to come off the board, and I knew that I was somewhere in that range because 7 corners had already went before me. But blessed, super excited, second round draft pick. Didn't see that coming, but I'm glad that it happened.
Why do you think you'd be a good fit in New Orleans?
I feel like I fit their culture, talking to Coach Robinson and, the type of defense that they run, the aggressive, physical side of the game. And, I have friends there, former teammates there that I've talked to. Marquez Callaway hit me up. Bryce Thompson called me and started screaming at the phone, they messed up now, But, having a guy who's been in the system for a year, a guy that I trust, a guy that I know will take care of me, but a guy who's going to keep it real with me, right? So, talking to him, he tells me all the time, you'll fit in here perfect. And Marquez Callaway says the same thing, you'll love the locker room. And, they have some of the greats, learning from Marshawn Lattimore, something I'm really looking forward to. The news today coming out, the Honey Badgers coming to New Orleans as well. So, there's a lot of veteran guys that I get to pick the brains of, but just makes our defense more scary.
The pipeline is super strong from Tennessee to the Saints. Multiple VFLs there, I believe 5 on the active roster that you'll be joining. You mentioned Bryce Thompson, fellow defensive back. What were those conversations like between you guys during the draft process, and how excited are you to join him again?
Yeah, they were long. There was times when at the Combine I had FaceTimed Bryce, and I had took Coach Robinson the phone, and they were having a conversation, and Bryce was like, bro, they love you. And he was like, the Saints love Tennessee players. Like, I don't know why, but the Saints love Tennessee players. And he was like, they're going to come get you. Like, that's what he kept telling me. He was like, they're going to come get you. But before he had got drafted, I told him, I was like, we're going to team up again in the NFL. I don't know when or how, but we're going to team up again. And he sent me a screenshot of the Snapchat that I sent him whenever I said that to him, and it was super exciting, you know. And then the conversation that we had afterwards was like, I told you. And then, like I said, he said, you know, they messed up now. You know, 2 former Vols, 2 guys who, you know, did really good things here at the University of Tennessee. We're going to go to the NFL and spark, and on top of that, to a really great program, a defined culture, a franchise that I feel like we can make it to the Super Bowl.
That's awesome. And you were among 4 others. There was 5 of you total who got picked up in this year's draft. Did you have any conversations with those guys when they were getting picked up, and what did it go like? Because I know you and Velus were very close. You guys were roommates.
Yeah. Facts. I did have conversations with those guys. I could have easily got drafted and then left my draft party and went and had a little bit of fun, but you know, I told my family and friends like I wanted to stay because I knew there's other guys that are going to get drafted, and you know, I'm having conversations with people, and all of a sudden I hear Alontae. I look at the screen and Velus Jones Jr. gets drafted, and we've had so many long conversations about this. He was my roommate, so we talked about all the time before we left to go to our draft parties or to our cities. You know, we was like, hey, like, this is it. We worked so hard. We can't do anything else with it. And then he kept saying, like, I'm hearing 4th round. I said, no, Velus, you're going to go 2nd round or you're going to go 3rd round. Like, I believe in it. He was like, no, bro, like, you're going to go 2nd round. So we were just kind of giving those words of affirmation to each other, right? And then, so super excited for Velus, you know, going to Chicago. When I texted him, I was like, hey, bro, so proud of you. Stay warm, though. And so we talked about the cold and the hot, and I told him, I said, stay warm. Like, Chicago gets cold.
He's not used to that weather.
Yeah, he's not. And then, it was exciting, though, you know, Theo Jackson staying home. You know, I hit him up after everything calmed down, and I was like, this is your city, bro. This is your state. Like, go represent it. You get another opportunity to do that. Super excited for you there. And I hit up Matt Butler, you know, going all the way to Vegas. I was like, hey, I was just in Vegas for the NFLPA debut. Beautiful city. You're going to love it. And then talking to some other guys like Kenneth George Jr., Javonte, and Cade. So, yeah.
So going back to the Saints, are you excited to match up with guys like Marquez Callaway, Chris Olave, and Michael Thomas in practice?
You know, that's what you want as a DB. You want to line up against the best, and I feel like that's another trait of going to New Orleans, right? You go against these guys in practice, so when it comes game time, either you're going to go up against a guy who may be a little bit more talented or maybe a little bit better, or you're going to go up against a guy who's nothing like them, right? And, you know, Michael Thomas, you know, I kind of watched him when he had a big year, and then Marquez Callaway, a guy who I played with here, did one-on-ones with here, going against him in practice and just making me a better player as well. And Chris had hit me up on Instagram. He was like, let's get it, you know, and I was like, let's go turn the city up, man. So excited to come in with them, with him specifically, just knowing that we were going one-on-ones with each other, a great receiver, a guy that we're just going to make each other better each and every day.
We talked about the VFLs in the Saints, but were there other players who reached out to you and congratulated you at all?
No, not yet. I know that they had some stuff going on there, but not specifically yet. But I know when I get there, you know, I feel like, you know, I'm at home and they'll welcome me with open arms.
Have you ever been to New Orleans?
Never been. So
what are you most looking forward to?
Just really the experience. You know, I'm an open mind, so I'm ready to go out there. But like I said, I've had conversations with the other guys, and they tell me how great the city is, and there's so many things to do. But you know, my #1 goal right now is just to get in there and learn the playbook, and really just find my spot on the team and on the roster, and just show where I can help the team win. And then I'll worry about the city as much on that side once, you know, I kind of get settled in and understand the system and understand what my role is for the Saints.
You proved yourself to be one of the best cornerbacks in the SEC, and you can also play safety, but have the Saints talked to you about what your role is going to look like on the team?
Yeah, I'm a cornerback, right? I'm coming in to play corner. Coach Allen even said it, right? They want me to play corner on the outside, and that's where I want to be. That's where I want to play. Yeah. And just knowing that my head coach sees that in me as well. There's a couple of doubters out there thinking that I have to go to safety, but you know, I'm going to embrace that role and going in as a corner and competing for a starting job. And then whatever happens from there, right? But right now, I'm a corner. I'm going in as a corner. I'm excited for the opportunity just to play in that secondary itself, but then also play on the opposite side of Marshawn Lattimore.
Is that one of your goals to prove in your first year in the NFL as well?
Yeah, my biggest goal is to prove the doubters wrong. You know, a lot of guys say that I'm too stiff and I can't do certain things as a cornerback. You know, they don't see how much work I've been putting in, right, on the outside. So, you know, just going in, continue that work, continue that rehab, and treat achievement and things like that, and just prove it to them, but really more so prove it to myself. You know that I am who I am. I am who I say that I am, and I am a cornerback, and I will have success at the corner position in the NFL.
Do you think staying this year and playing under Josh Heupel, under Willie Martinez, really helped prepare you for this next step?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, Coach Pruitt's staff helped me as well.
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of built that discipline side of me coming into the system that Coach Heupel brought in as well. And you know, Coach Martinez recruited me in high school, so I had a great relationship with him. And then Coach Heupel just coming in and making it feel like a family organization or a family team that we finally have now is what was really exciting. But Coach Martinez coaching me up, understanding who I was already, because we had that relationship, right? So there wasn't a player-coach like curve where we had to learn about each other. Like, he knew who I was, he knew what motivated me, he knew what I could take and what I couldn't take as a player, and he pushed those buttons when he needed to push those buttons. And from doing that, you know, it allowed me to have one of my best career seasons since I've been here.
How has playing in the SEC helped prepare you now for the NFL?
Yeah, I always say I feel like the SEC is kind of like the NFL, right? You know, the speed, the size, all those things. And talking to guys that are at the Saints now, and you know, Bryce specifically, and he's like, bro, it's kind of the same, right? Those guys are veteran guys, right? They're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster, yes. But, you know, you're not coming from a conference where they're not as big or they're not as strong. So when you get to the league, you're like, holy cow, like, these guys are way faster, right? So I feel like the SEC prepared me, you know, playing the best of the best. You see guys, they always talk about Alabama, right? They always talk about they come in NFL ready, right? Well, Tennessee sends guys into the NFL ready as well. And the conference does that itself, just from the competition that you play. Looking
back at your career here, what was one of your favorite games? I'd imagine your first career pick six against Kentucky would probably rank up there.
For sure. That would be my number one. Not only did I have the pick six in that game, I felt like I had a pretty solid game throughout the rest, but you know, everybody just hitting on the cylinders, right? Everybody was having a good game. It was a really close game. That's the type of game you want to play. You don't want to play in a blowout. You definitely don't want to play losing, right? So a game is going back and forth. Then the pick six kind of sealing the deal a little bit, but then it's like, holy cow, did it seal the deal or did it not? You still got to go out there and play defense, right? You still got to go out there and play offense, and I feel like that's what happened. That's why the game is my number one, not just from the pick six, but just knowing like everybody was, you know, having to go out there and play, and that's exactly what happened. And kind of go back to 2 years ago when we had the goal line stop against Kentucky. Seems like always in Lexington.
Always in Lexington, that's right. And I remember the post-game celebration after that upset was so awesome. The energy was just through the roof. Was that celebration, what was that like for you guys? Josh Heupel talked about it a little bit, but for you guys enjoying it, what was that like? It
was personal. We took it very personal. You know, we tried to let our play do the talking. You know, I kind of said the words I feel like that really sparked things whenever I said, you know, you don't lose to Kentucky, right? So I feel like for me saying that, it kind of sparked the conversation and things like that, and we did that. And then, you know, when we beat them, you know, we went out there and we took a picture on their logo in the middle of the field. And you know, people say it was disrespectful and his motivation. Hey, take it how you need to take it, right? But it was fun. We took it personal, right? We wanted to beat Kentucky. We heard we couldn't, and we just shocked everybody. So you came into Tennessee as a wide receiver and then switched to a defensive back. How do you think playing receiver helped your game now as a DB? Yeah, you know, as I got older, it helped me more. When I was younger, I was too much focused on just technique and things like that. But as my time got going on, I was able to realize like what certain stems were and what certain routes were and how I could play those better as a DB. You also wore number 2. Going to the Saints, Jameis Winston owns number 2. Is there another number that you're looking at that maybe has some significance? I'd love to go back to 6. I wore that my freshman year here. I also wore it throughout high school. But if I can't get number 6 as a single digit, I'd love to put 2 and 6 together and just wear 26. So that's the plan, that's the goal. It may not work that way though. So you talked about your late grandmother, and she's one of your biggest motivations and inspirations, and you mentioned to make sure that you honored her. Can you talk about your relationship with your late grandmother? Yeah, so my grandma raised me a little bit when I was in 1st grade. So I feel like that's why our relationship really got tighter when I was young. And then, you know, she passed away in '09, and when she passed away, I felt like it put a big gap in my family. You know, grandma's house is where you went for Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, whatever it was. And when she passed, we didn't do that anymore. And so coming to Tennessee had a lot more so to do with my family, just coming together, being able to come 2.5 hours away. My grandma meant everything to me. She's my biggest motivation to this day. And so I miss her all the time, and I just make sure that I keep that on my heart and chest and know that, like, you know, she's proud of me, and just keep pushing it for her. Yeah, you keep her with you
It seems like all the time. How proud do you think she'd be of you to know that you are living out your dream?
I think she'll be super excited. I posted on my Instagram, I used to talk her ear off, right, about this whole me going to the NFL thing. And I think she'll be super excited for me. I also feel like she would just hug me and just let me know, like, you know, I'm proud of you. Something I would always want to hear from my grandma. I was 1 whenever she took me in, but I was 10 whenever she passed away. So I've lived a lot of life, right, without her. And so I always kind of wish I remember what her voice sounded like, and those are the only words that I'd love to hear her say to me. So yeah.
Well, I know she's very, very proud of you to be able to do this. So what's your plans next? When do you go to New Orleans?
Yeah, so I leave May 12th. I came back to Knoxville yesterday. I'm here now just to pack up my apartment. I'm leaving tomorrow to go back home to spend time with my family. I'm also training in Nashville just so that whenever I leave, you know, I'm not behind. I'm in shape. I'm doing all the things I needed to do to be successful. So.
And looking back at this past season and your career here at Tennessee, do you think that the program is now in good hands? You guys have proven it under Josh Heupel. What are your expectations for the program moving forward?
Yeah, I told Coach Hype after they had the little scrimmage out there on the field, I was like, Coach, y'all can go win the SEC championship. I have no doubt about it. Seeing the happiness and just the excitement that the players have for each other. You know, one guy makes a pick or a fumble, you know, the whole sideline's clearing out to go celebrate with that one player. And I mean, that's the step that our program needed to take, and that's the step that they took. So I'm excited for them. You know, they're getting ready to go into summer camp or going into break and then coming in for camp. But I'm super excited for those boys. They're working really hard. Talking to Trayvon Flowers, who's going to be a veteran safety, but a veteran leader on this whole entire team. You know, he's taking the right steps, and he could be in this exact same position next year. I have no doubt about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and congratulations again.
Appreciate it. Thank you.